Hey coaches, I'm Andrew, former high school football coach and now the founder of iQSports. One question I get all the time is, how many formations do you run or did you run? Honestly, not that many. Over the years, I've actually gone the opposite direction of what a lot of coaches do. I'd rather have five or six core formations and become extremely multiple through motions and shifts than have 15 formations my kids have to memorize. Today, I want to explain why. Now, before I jump into this, let me just say, I'm not here to tell anyone they're doing it wrong. I know there are coaches watching this who run 20 formations and win a ton of football games. If that's what fits your kids and your staff, keep doing it. This is simply the philosophy that's made me a better coach. The philosophy actually came from a mistake I experienced early in my coaching career. I was coaching at a school in the Pacific Northwest, and our offense carried a ton of formations. Every little wrinkle had its own formation. The goal was to have every possible look installed so that if a JV player or a backup had to step onto the field on Friday night, they'd already know it. That sounds great in theory, but the problem was we were spending 20 to 30 minutes every single practice just getting lined up. Receivers were on the wrong side. Somebody forgot the split. The tight end was in the wrong alignment. Uh, the back lined up on the wrong side. Practice just kept stopping. Instead of working football, we were working alignment. And I'll never forget thinking, there has to be a better way. When I left that job, I promised myself something. The next offense I built would have a completely different philosophy. Not because the previous coaches were wrong, but because I wanted our players spending more time executing football than memorizing formations. All right. Now, my philosophy has a couple different points uh, uh, to it that will kind of tie into the overarching point. The first one is learning efficiency. Everything starts here. My philosophy isn't based just on that one bad experience. It's rooted in a simple belief. Master the foundation before you build the house. Every formation you install is another thing your players have to memorize before they even think about the play itself. Kids already have enough to process as it is without having to remember assignments, blocking rules, coverage recognition, cadence, situational football, all for formations that they're going to rep maybe 5, 10 times during the course of a season. It's just too much. Every extra thing we ask them to memorize takes attention away from actually playing football. And here's the sentence that I always come back to. Formations do not score touchdowns. All right. I will say that one again. Formations don't score touchdowns. Players executing concepts score touchdowns. I'd much rather have six formations my players know inside and out than 15 formations they're still thinking through on Friday night. So, my approach became this: build the foundation first with personnel groupings and core formations, then start giving your players tools, motions, shifts, adjustments, things like that. Instead of teaching a brand new offense every week, we're simply adding another tool to a toolbox they already understand. Now, think about the math just real quick. If I have six formations, six motions, and say a meager 16 concepts, right? That gives me over 5,300 different presentations of my offense. The defense sees variety. My players see familiarity. That's the balance that I'm looking to strike. All right. Let me show you what I mean. On the whiteboard here, we have just one formation. All right, it's what I call duo left. It's a 2-by-2 formation with the running back on the left side of the quarterback. Um, all we're doing is we're focusing on one formation and a few motions, all right, to show you different presentations. The first one is one that everybody knows and everybody loves. It's jet motion. So if we come out of the huddle and do a left Z jet, this is what it'll look like. Something like this. Boom. Now, let me play this really quick. Boom. What are we in now? We're now in a 3-by-1 formation. What that's going to force these guys to do is this is going to force this corner to either come in and sit to kind of roll here, or to come all the way across the formation and telegraph what they're doing, right? Or, if he all right, now what we've created with the duo left H orbit is kind of a faux two-back set. All right, you can do a lot out of this. You can do a lot of different things out of this formation, but what this will do is it'll force the inside defenders to kind of move around, and it'll cause confusion with them. For instance, if H leaves, what this could do for our quarterback is if it might key the will to walk up to the line, that in the quarterback's mind would say, hey, the will's coming, pressure, now I have a hot, right? Or it might, it would take another defender out of the box. I know that he's kind of apexing right here, but, he wouldn't really be, uh, a threat if we wanted to go inside zone to the left, or if we wanted to go toss to the H, right? It would take a defender out of the play while also kind of setting ourselves up for success. All right, so that's what that would look like. He's offsides, but for our purposes, he's not. All right, one formation, two motions. Now we're going to go return motion. So we're going to go, we'll go with the motion tool. We'll go duo left. We'll go H return. So we're going to go boom, and then he's going to return here. Okay. What this is going to do is it's going to give us another it's going to give us the same kind of information as the orbit with regard to the interior defenders. Because if H starts moving over here and they start sliding and then he comes back, we know that, we're wearing a really good formation for any sort of like rub routes or mesh plays or anything of that nature, right? And we still retain the overall shell of what we were trying to do in the first place, while also collecting that information. All right, now that's what this looks like. Motion. I think you actually have to go over and then down, because if you go up, that's gonna be a penalty. Okay, one motion or one formation, three motions. Now, fourth motion is going to be trade. All right. So all we're doing is we're moving one player and then we're trading him with another one. All right. Now, what we've created here is a kind of a heavy run package with a two back set. We're doing a little bit more complex of um, uh, emotion here, but we're getting ourselves into a really good run formation. Now, what this might do for us on the defensive side of the ball, if we're on offense, is it might make these safeties kind of roll down or sky down, maybe for a little bit of run support, which would put our guys on the outside in really good one-on-one situations, right? So all of this, all we're doing is we're moving our chess pieces around to get into the best positions possible for our team. All right. One formation, four motions, four different ways to present this offense. All right. Now, one more, and then we'll move on. This one is one of my favorites, right? So if you just have a 2x2 shell like we do right now, as long as this guy as long as this guy is in the backfield, somebody has to account for him in the run game. All right. So that might be the Will, that might be the Mike, that might be the Sam, whoever it is, they have to keep an eye on him because that is their responsibility. Whether or not they are good in coverage, we don't know yet, but we're about to find out. So we're going to go undo, and now we're going to go do a left. You can call it fire, you can call it hot, you can call it whatever you call it, but we can move him out and flex him into the onto the line. What this is going to do is it's going to create a lot of confusion for the defense, because chances are you're either going to have this Will come cover him, and then the safety has to come down and cover the H, or what you'll have to happen is this Mike will have to come cover the H. This will come over and cover the running back, but chances are this safety is going to come cover the running back, and the will cover the H. Which this right here is an advantageous situation for us, because chances are that's an actual receiver, and faster than a linebacker. All right. So one formation, five motions, five different ways to present our offense from a pre-snap look and to get them into a really good, advantageous situation post-snap. All right. Now that kind of leads me into my second point. This leads to better practice reps. All right. Because now we're spending less time in the classroom, less time fixing alignments, and a lot more time playing football. Instead of correcting formation mistakes, we're coaching blocking technique, route running, reading leverage, communication, and ball security. That's where football games are won, not wondering, hey, coach, am I on or off the ball? Every minute we save teaching formations is another minute we can spend getting better at football. All right. And then that leads me into my third point, game planning. This has been the biggest advantage for me. When Sunday rolls around, I'm not asking, hey, what new formation should we install this week to counteract whatever defensive look we're looking at? I'm asking, how do I get my best concepts? How do I get into my best concepts against this defense? That's a completely different mindset. Instead of inventing something new, I'm simply asking how motions can help me get to where I want to go. The concept stayed the same, the presentation changes. This makes game planning faster. It makes installation easier, and more importantly, it keeps my players confident because we're not changing anything. We're not throwing on a new thing halfway through the year that they're only going to rep for 1 week and then they're never going to rep it again. We're running our stuff, the best way we know how. Now, I kind of alluded to this earlier. This approach stresses the defense, and that's where it really becomes fun. Defenses hate movement. Every motion forces communication. Hey, who's traveling? Who's bumping? Who's rotating? Who's fitting the run? Who's got the jet? Sometimes I'm not even motioning to change the play. Like I said earlier, I'm motioning because I want information. I want to know if they're man or zone. I want to see how they adjust. I want to create hesitation. Even if the ball isn't snapped during the motion, I've still learned something. All right. Now, a couple more and then we'll be done. Let's go to Friday nights or halftime. Instead of saying, hey, let's install another formation, we're saying, what if we motion into that? The players already know the formation, the blocking, and the concept, only the presentation changes. That makes halftime adjustments incredibly efficient. Okay? Now, looking beyond Friday nights, another benefit that people don't always think about, this philosophy that I'm going over right now, it scales. Middle school, freshman, JV, varsity, everyone speaks the same language. The younger kids aren't learning an entirely different offense. Everybody who is listening to this right now or watching this understands that if you're a coach at a high school, the middle